Yo, 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 what is up, my boys? Boy, yeah, whoa, toe, and the low, and the yo-yo, and the poo-foo. I don't know what that is. But hey, I gotta drive. Running late for Joshy. Gonna do a quick one. I don't know if it's gonna be quick. Maybe it's gonna be longer than 3 minutes. Already at 30. So yeah, probably. So on this one, I was just talking to a friend about ministry, or not just ministry, but ecclesiology. I'm going to use a big word, big boys. Big word. Ecclesiology is like the study of like the church, or how we do church. Now, actually, I'll go off on this a little bit. Church is what we call the people of God today, I think. So back in the day, we used to call it Israel. This is how I'm thinking right now. But I don't really know if it's going to click. It's all that Jason Staples influence, right? So back in the day, God creates Israel, right? Through Abraham's grandson, Jacob, who he renames Israel, who becomes this group or this nation, right? And maybe Israel is still part of a bigger thing, or the church is part of Israel, right? So if we go with Jason Staples' kind of look, we take the end of Deuteronomy, that they are the people of Israel are given the law. They will not be able to follow it. They won't be able to do godly wisdom. Why? Because there's something wrong with their heart. Their heart needs to be circumcised. That is all played out a little bit more in the prophets. We see in the history of Israel, they just can't follow God. There's something wrong with them. So, the idea of a circumcised heart is played out a little bit more in Ezekiel and Jeremiah, even Isaiah and all the prophets, right? How is God going to accomplish giving them a new heart? And that's played out. Also, the end of Deuteronomy, they're not going to follow God, so these people are going to be scattered, right? So when they are scattered amongst the nations through the exile of Assyria for the northern kingdom, and then the exile of the southern kingdom to Babylon, the northern tribes of Israel, they are cut off or divorced from God. So they are scattered throughout the nations. They are blended within the nations. They're intermarried. They're out there. So this prophet that Moses mentions in Deuteronomy 18, that all the people have to listen to, and that's going to gather all the people back together, right? And that's what Paul explains in Romans, why the Gentiles are included. Those people are all assimilated or have been diasporaed all throughout the nations. And Jesus is going to call all of them back through his people. That's why Jesus is going to make fishers of men, right? Fishers of men such as his disciples. And they are supposed to go and make disciples of all nations, starting in Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the world, right? So that idea, and the people that came to know Jesus that were Gentiles after the book of Acts and all that, later became known as the church. And then the church split, say with the Reformation, or even the Eastern Orthodox Church and the, let's say, Roman Catholic Church, right? And then there was the split of the Protestants and the Reformation. Crazy, giving me a lot of history here. Anyway, all of that we've created the modern church. That's a little background. And now we're in America, our context, but there's the church, or the people of God. Let's call it the people of God. I think the church is basically still Israel. It's the people of God. All that background just to say all that. So Israel, or the people of God, are basically are all over the world, right? And I'm specifically going to talk about the American church because that's where we are. And specifically even more to my tribe, which is the Evangelical American Church. How about that? And with the Evangelical American Church, I think we run it basically like a business. Our ministries are smaller ministries, like nonprofits that are ministries, and even the bigger, what we call church, or the people of God, through Evangelical American Church, we run it like a business. So let's just take ministries or nonprofits. We are basically indebted to our donors to work for them. You know, we basically always give an account. It's just funny. If you do ministry, you write like a letter on, yeah, this is kind of what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm up to. So you're kind of indebted to them to like tell them, like, I know you give us money, so this is what we've done with that money. You give an account of it. And it's a little bit like the model of a shareholder in a company, right? A shareholder invests in a company, they buy their stock. So yearly, what a company will do is they'll give like a report, like, hey, this is what we've done this year, and then this is where your money's gone, and this is how we've invested it. And then look, we've made more money for you guys through our stocks or dividends or whatever, right? So that's kind of what we have. And then so now we have this consumer mentality when we go to church, like, oh, this is kind of what I want, so I go to this church because of the preacher's good, or this guy is good that talks every day. I've had so many people tell me that. And then also people that are donors want to know like what their money is being invested in, and then what are the results. So we're very result oriented, right? Which is kind of what we do in business. We need results. Are you making money? How much money are you making? So like if your business is good or not, it's based on its success in making money, right? That's usually how we base success in business, and which is fine. You know, it's capitalism for you. But when we are followers of Jesus, the ethics of things needs to look different, right? So how that translates in ministry is, well, how many people are being saved? How many people are coming to know Jesus? How many are being discipled? That's the sort of thing we care about and want to hear about. And that determines if we are part of a successful church, like how many people go there, how many people are being saved, different categories, right? So we will measure the success of churches or ministries based on that. And it's probably not a good model for the kingdom of God, right? I don't pretend to know a better way, but these are the things that I noticed that were wrong in ministry back in the day. All right, so that's just part of it. Don't know if I fleshed that out well, but yeah, the results of that, you can kind of see the paradigm there of heaven and hell paradigm, right? We go to heaven, we're saved, go to hell if we're not, and not the heaven and earth paradigm, which we need to be thinking about more, where heaven and earth are meant to be together. So our good works are the important kind of thing that we're supposed to do. We're not trying to escape somewhere, but we are trying to do what we are made to do, and we are purposed to do as human beings. We're image bearers. So as image bearers, we're supposed to bear God's image on the earth by doing what our purpose is, which is to serve and to rule over creation, and do it in a godly manner, or in a godly way, right? With godly wisdom. So yeah, we have that purpose of humans in mind, and the idea that heaven and earth are supposed to be together as it was in Eden, and that it will be in the new creation, because we see Jesus bringing the new Jerusalem to earth, right? We will have a different purpose as the people of God here. That's why I think it's important to have that perspective as we approach the Bible and as we read it, so that we will have the correct mission as the church or the people of God. What up? What you think about that? Have I ever beatbox on this? You ever hear me rap on this? Rapping a dapping? All right. I'm talking to myself with the teacher staring at me. This is how influencers feel. I feel like an influencer, bro. All right, boys. Love ya.